Hi, I'm Dana and welcome to another info dump video. I've started this little info dump series because so much of my content's kind of really heavy and I'm kind of talking about things I'd rather mostly ignore. So this is a way to have a little bit of happiness and joy and talk about the things I enjoy and hopefully maybe find some other people that like the same stuff or entertain someone. It's so I can feel better. This is 100% so that I can feel better. Anything else is just a bonus. So today I wanted to talk about the Foo Fighters because they've been my favourite band for like a long while now. I love them like I've never loved any band before. And I want to talk about them. Now, they are a massive band, so I feel like really silly explaining who they are. But there's also going to be people that aren't into like rock music and don't really know who they are. So the Foo Fighters are a band that started in like 95. It was fronted by Dave Grohl. It still is fronted by Dave Grohl, but at the time he just played all the instruments and wrote all the songs. Whereas now it's a whole formed band with multiple members instead of just Dave Grohl. And they've been going ever since and they're absolutely amazing. And because they've been about for so long, I feel like every fan has their own like story of how they found them and they're all kind of a little bit unique and fun. I love hearing other people talk about how they got into them. So that's where we're going to start today. If someone can find out like when the first episode of Sonic Highways aired on like BBC back in the day when it first aired, that was the day that I got onto the Foo Fighters. Now, Sonic Highways was a really interesting documentary series. Each song on the album Sonic Highways, they went to a different recording studio to do and like spoke to the musicians from that city and basically wrote the song like around the vibe of the city and the past musicians that have been there. And like it sounds a little pretentious, I'll give you, and like there's loads of shots of Dave like popping his collar and walking through like cold New York streets. It's a little pretentious, but it's really, really good, so you can just deal with it. But my boyfriend was like, hey, do you want to watch this? The Foo Fighters are pretty cool. And I was like, oh, I don't know who they are, but okay, it sounds interesting. And at the end of each episode, they play like the whole song and you see them perform it, and I was just like, well, that was the shit, wasn't it? Like, that was incredible. That was amazing. I want to see this again and again. So we watched the whole documentary and then I bought the album. Which I don't have with me, one moment. But yeah, then I got the album and it was God as my witness that I was just immediately obsessed with. Like, obviously I'm talking about like obviously these videos are info dumps because I'm autistic. And that was very much a stim for me. I just wanted to listen to that song on repeat all the time. My boyfriend got incredibly sick of it. But to this day, I can just listen to it over and over. It's an incredible song. And I love Taylor's voice on it. For those who don't know, Taylor Hawkins is the drummer of the Foo Fighters. And he's also an incredible like musician and songwriter and singer and everything in his own right. So I just think he's incredible and I really love him. So yeah, this was the start of my Foo Fighters journey, and not long afterwards I got my first Foo Fighters tattoo as well. So I got lyrics from Something From Nothing. Obviously I had to. I got them cold as the match ready to strike. It's one of the first lines in the whole song, it's one of the first lines of the whole song and it's also the first song of the album. And it felt like I was like stumbling into something new because I hadn't really listened to rock music as such. Like I was into like Bowie and then the Beatles and God, who did I like before I liked the Foo Fighters? Like the Jonas Brothers and My Chemical Romance. Like they were completely different from anything I'd listened to, and you know, not to shit on the other people I listened to, but I very much felt like they were the first band I was listening to that were like true musicians. Like the entire band like fully were like musicians. They're not like Nate isn't just the bassist, he's a musician. Chris isn't just a guitarist, he's a musician. It brings so much more to the band and to the dynamic and to the songs, in my opinion, and I just really love that. So I think what I'm going to do from here is just go through a couple of albums and sort of tell you my favourite bits about them, my favourite songs, my favourite like memories or whatever. Show you the bands that I then got into because of the Foo Fighters. And then we should be good and done, and it should just be a fun little fangirl time. Monkey Wrench, Hey Johnny Park and Walking After You are my favourite songs on this album. My Hero is an absolute classic. Everyone loves My Hero. I already knew all the words to it because I'd been a little Paramore fangirl in high school. And yeah, I think it's really overrated. I think the Foo Fighters have much better songs. Like, it's a great song. If I'd written it, I'd never shut up about it. I'd be playing it to everyone I could find. But for Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, they have better. I also thought this was super cool because it's like a live in Toronto in 1996. It's like before I was even born. And I don't like Will Goldsmith. For those who are like new to the Foo Fighters and being introduced through this, basically Will Goldsmith was the drummer that they originally had. And Dave Grohl was just like, yo, he's not very good, is he? So if I just re-record all of the drum parts myself on the album and we just don't tell him, that'll be chill, yeah? But he did find out and he was like, Dave, what, man? And Dave was like, oh yeah, we have like completely re-recorded all the parts you did. But you can still come on tour with us if you want. So like, it was super shitty on Dave's part. But also, he's not that good a drummer. He's a little tiny bit out of time on like every single fucking song. And I'm glad that they didn't keep him. Which makes my favourite live Foo Fighters album Skin and Bones because they had Taylor on it. Not to mention they played some of my absolute all-time favourite Foo Fighters songs on this. Like, if I just skip over the ones I don't like, you've got Walking After You, Marigold, Next Year, Another Round, Big Me, Cold Day in the Sun, Skin and Bones, February Stars, Times Like These, and Best of You and Everlong. And that's skipping the ones that I don't care about. There's so many good songs on this. It's like some of their best. It's so well performed. They are absolutely incredible. And not to be a total like bragger or whatever, but having seen them live, there is no better experience than seeing the Foo Fighters live. Like, I've seen them live twice. Oh, you can't... I've got a Foo Fighters ticket like up here from the first time I saw them, you can't see it, so it was pointless mentioning that. But I've seen them twice. I've got a ticket booked to see them again next year. Like, they are just incredible to see live, the energy that they bring. And like, my favourite thing about the Foo Fighters is how like genuine and honest I think they all are, and Dave especially, obviously, as the frontman. He talks the most, you see the most of his personality. But like, every gig I've watched them do live, like on telly, every time I've actually seen them live in person, there's always a moment when he like looks out and thanks everyone for being there. And I feel like most musicians do it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here, well done, whatever. Because I don't feel like it's particularly genuine. I feel like it's something they feel they need to do. But with Dave, there's like a certain look in his eyes and on his face where I'm just like, God, like, you can so tell that this dude, like, still to this day, like fucking 30 odd years after beginning, like, performing and being someone, he still looks out at the crowd and like sees us all as people, you know, and he is genuinely like so happy to be getting to play music to us all and have us all be in there, and it just feels really fucking special. That's been such a tangent, but yeah, that's a great one. After Sonic Highways, they also brought out this short EP, which is St. Cecilia, and it had a lot of hype at the time, but I don't feel like I see anyone talk about it anymore, and it's a real shame, because I fucking loved St. Cecilia. Save Your Breath, especially, I just think was brilliant. I really loved that one. I'm going to go off on a bit of another tangent here, because there's one on this called The Never Ending Sigh. And you know what really is fucking never ending? Is Play. I'm not the biggest fan of instrumentals anyway, and this is a 22-minute long instrumental. However, it's fucking sick for a start. Like, look at that. That is so cool. The video has just like fucking 7 Daves walking in because he's playing every instrument on it. So you just have like Dave after Dave walking in, and it kills me every time. And it is like genuinely the best fucking instrumental I've ever listened to. Like 22 minutes. And you go to so many places. It takes you to space, okay? It takes you to space. It's just the best. I am constantly just blown away by how fucking creative and talented Dave Grohl is. Like, he just shits stuff out, don't he, all the time. Like, dude's got a book out. His mum's got a book out. He's done a 22-minute instrumental. He's in a band. They're doing the fucking DJs. Is that what we were calling it? I don't remember. I hate fucking disco music. But they're just so creative and constantly doing stuff. And now I want to talk about Concrete and Gold, because that was the album they were promoting last time I saw them live, like 3 years ago, thanks COVID. But I think the thing that keeps me always coming back to Foo Fighters is that each album is so individual, you know? Like, none of their albums sound the same. I feel like they bring something completely new and really, again, creative and unique and special to every single album. And I think it's a little bit different to every single album. And for me, Concrete and Gold is one that's kind of more upbeat, kind of. Like, not all of the songs like super happy, but I feel like it's just got a more positive vibe to it. That's the worst thing I've ever said, but it's true, so take of that what you will. It's got The Sky is a Neighbourhood on it, which is quite possibly one of, like, it might be my all-time favourite Foo Fighters song. I really love The Sky is a Neighbourhood because I fucking love aliens. And I've been looking for a way to work in the fact that Dave was in an episode of The X-Files. Whoa, cool, huh? Admittedly, he literally walks past Mulder and Scully with his girlfriend at the time. He's not, like, in The X-Files to the degree of, like, Jack Black, but he is in The X-Files, and it absolutely counts, because if I got to walk past Mulder and Scully, I would tell everyone I was in The X-Files, and I think Dave Grohl deserves the same sentiments. In Your Honor's the Foos album that everyone knows. It's got, like, In Your Honor, No Way Back, Best of You, DOA, Last Song, Free Me, you know, like, it's the songs that everyone knows of the Foo Fighters. However, like, if you don't know, the first half of it's like, woo, rock, Foo Fighters, normal stuff, and the second half's like more acousticy, nice songs. And Deepest Blues Are Black, is that on this one? Was it on this? Yeah, The Deepest Blues Are Black, Another Round, Over and Out, and Cold Day in the Sun are amongst my absolute favourite Foo Fighters songs. I think that they truly show, like, the musicianship and how, like, tender and emotional Dave Grohl can be, like, through music. And it just feels like they're very intimate songs. They're songs that, like, really mean a lot to me. That's part of why I love the Foo Fighters so much. It's just that they've been with me for so long now that there's so many parts of my life that I connect them to, and so many songs that remind me of, like, times or events or people. And it just feels very tender and close, and I really enjoy that. And I've saved Wasting Light, the last album I can be bothered to talk about, because my mum's making me lunch and I probably should have been there already. But Wasting Light is my favourite Foo Fighters album. I love Wasting Light. There's a video on YouTube where they play the entirety of Wasting Light at Studio 606, is that what it's called? I have no memory. I've got a lot of love, I've got no memory. But it's incredible to see them just play it live through. Like, I would pay all of my savings to see them just play Wasting Light live, because it's Bridge Burning, Rope, Dear Rosemary, White Limo, Arlandria, These Days, Back and Forth, Matter of Time, Mr. Misery, I Should Have Known, and Walk. Like, they are the best Foo Fighters songs all on one album. They are just such bops. Like, this has been a part of my life for a long while now. And Dear Rosemary, Arlandria, and Walk are all just songs that, like, mean the entire world to me, and I really, really bloody adore. They're just incredible songs from an incredible band on an incredible album. And I also just, if I can get the reflection of my shitty light off it, how beautiful is that cover? It's beautiful, beautiful artwork, and I love this album. The way my brain works is that if I like something, I really like it, and I desperately want to know more about it. But when it comes to bands, I don't give a shit about a person's life, to be honest with you. I don't care who Dave Grohl's married to, I don't care what his kids are up to, I don't care who Pat Smear's mum is, whatever, you know. I don't give two shits about their actual real life. So I supplement that by just venturing on to other members of the band and being like, wonder what he did. And as it so happens, Taylor Hawkins has done a fucking lot, and it's all been fucking incredible, okay? Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders, not so much my thing. His most recent album was fucking amazing, and Coda is one of my favourite things that I have ever listened to. You've got Range Rover Bitch, Bob Quit His Job, Southern Bells, Rudy, Tokyo No No, and I've got some Not Being Around You to do today. And every single one of them is just an absolute bop. It's like so fucking 70s, cocks to the wall, something's going on. It's not quite disco, it's not quite rock, it's something that I love that Taylor Hawkins created for us, and I'm very glad that he did. Chris Shiflett also has his own little music career. He's their guitarist. I'm still pretty sure, honestly, that, like, Pat Smear left the band at one point and they got Chris in to be the guitarist instead. Loved him, he's great, why would you not love him? But then Pat Smear was like, can I come back? And they were like, yeah. And I'm pretty convinced, honestly, that they didn't really want him back because they'd found Chris, but they felt bad like not letting him back, and they couldn't get rid of Chris because he's really good. And I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but Chris Shiflett does like honky tonk country music, and you'd be thinking, Dana, you don't seem like a country fan, and I didn't think I was either. But then Chris Shiflett happened, and it turns out I fucking absolutely am. I love Chris Shiflett. I've seen him live. I had got a picture with him. I spoke to him. I wish I hadn't. It was cripplingly embarrassing. I'm very awkward. But he was really, really nice. And he's just such an incredible musician. Like, him and his band, when I saw them individually, like, away from the Foo Fighters, they played this little, like, improv solo thing. Blew my fucking mind. Closest thing to, like, being on acid without actually being on acid, you know? It was just fucking insanely good. Unfortunately, that doesn't go for, like, everyone in the band. Because this is, I want to say Sunny Day Real Estate, but I'm terrified that's not what this band's called. This is the band that Nate was in. He's the bassist. They're not great. I wouldn't really bother. They've got one song called Circles, I think. I'm going to go with that. And it's not bad. But Will Goldsmith was the drummer for these. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Obviously, we cannot talk about fucking Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters without talking about Nirvana. And you'd be forgiven for, like, thinking I'm a big fan from the fact that I've got, like, records and a cassette tape. Also, I got this in a charity shop for £1. And it's still got, like, the whole little bit, you know, that you, like, pull out. And it's very cool. I don't know, I just thought that was cool. But yeah, I got that in the charity shop for £1. All of this I found somewhere or another for cheap. I would not spend real actual money on Nirvana, I'm sorry. I like Nirvana enough. I'm not a Nirvana fan, but I just much prefer the Foo Fighters. And I feel like that makes me a bad Nirvana fan, so I just pretend I'm not a fan. If you wanted any sort of fucking recommendations for Nirvana from me, my favourites are Sliver, Rape Me, Polly, and I like Serve the Servants a lot. And I like the one that's all the twist one. He sings about, like, come on over and do the twist. Yeah, they're my favourite Nirvana songs. That's all you're getting. And finally, the little extension from that is that I got really into Garbage because of the Foo Fighters, because their drummer, Butch Vig, has also produced for the Foo Fighters, and he produced for Nirvana, but who gives a fuck? So I got really into Garbage because of them, and I fucking love Garbage. I might do a whole video like this on Garbage, honestly. If you want recommendations for them, which no one asked for and I wasn't intending to do in this, obviously you can go for the ones that everyone knows, like Paranoid and I'm Only Happy When It Rains. But I really like Queer and We Are Not Your Kind of People. And finally, before I go, I also got onto Bikini Kill, which, like, it wasn't quite through the Foo Fighters. I basically got into the Foo Fighters and that made me get into Nirvana, and then I ended up hearing about Bikini Kill because of Nirvana, but I'm connecting it back to the Foo Fighters. They're fronted by Kathleen Hanna. They're this, like, weird riot girl, punk, shouty, very loud band. I've seen them live. I went all the way to London to see them live, and it was one of the worst adventures of my life. I'm thinking of doing a video of just, like, mistakes I've made and how to not make them. I don't know. But I saw them live and it was absolutely incredible because they were a brilliant band. Like, I've gone off about how, like, the Foo Fighters are such good musicians. And that's true. I love it when people are, like, really great musicians and really deserve to be where they are because of that. Bikini Kill aren't, like, you know, they're not, I don't want to say they're bad musicians because they're not, but they're not, like, you're not going to get, like, really technical, intricate licks from them, you know, like you are with the Foo Fighters sometimes. They're a punk band, they're sort of just, like, bashing it out, but they're exactly what you want them to be. They're brilliant, they're absolutely fantastic. Really enjoy listening to them, really important message that they spread, and I always feel really empowered and happy to listen to them. So, Bikini Kill. Obviously, everyone loves Rebel Girl from Bikini Kill. You will have heard it in a movie or a TV show or something at some point. I also really like White Boy. George Bush is a Pig. I'm not very good with song titles, and I don't like to, like, sing bits of songs aloud for people to tell me the song title. So just have a listen to Bikini Kill on your own. I think that's all the gushing I have the energy for today. I really thought I was like properly like recovered from COVID and doing well, but I'm kind of still getting like super tired. So maybe I'm not as recovered as I thought, but I'm doing okay. Like everything's back to normal for me now and I'm feeling good. A little update for anyone who both made it this far and gives a fuck. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. Whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, day, week, month, year. I just hope you're having a good time and I'll see you again in a few days.